This episode is brought to you by Kalona Brewing Company. If you live in Eastern Iowa, make sure to swing by Kalona Brewing Company's tap room. Amazing food and amazing craft beer. If you live in Central Iowa or in the Midwest, swing by your local supermarket and see if they carry the Kalona Brewing Company line of beer. And also swing by your local restaurants, local bars, see if they have Kalona Brewing Companies on tap. If not, make sure you guys request it. I kid you not, you won't regret that. Other than that, enjoy this episode, guys. Thank you for joining us at Beer Fish Fanatics. And this episode is actually brought to you by Whisker Seeker Tackle.
So make sure you guys go to whiskerseeker.com for all your catfishing gear.
Enjoy the episode, guys. Good? Think we're good? I'll do the infamous.
Yep, so it helps.
All right.
Does that get it rolling?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the syncing.
So we can sync it up later.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, but, I had a horrible syncing bonanza last week. We'll talk about it. Nobody gives a shit.
Right.
But anyways, all right, everybody, welcome to another episode of Beer Fish Fanatics. This is Granny with Ma Pop Fishing. We have...
I feel like I want to say something different during this part.
Why?
I don't know. Like Kit with the Fishing Kit YouTube channel. I could just say
That's what
Fishing Kit, I guess.
Yeah, just Fishing Kit.
Yeah, Fishing Kit.
There you go, Fishing Kit. And today we're actually on site here at Fire Trucker Brewery up here in Ankeny, Iowa. And, we were just thinking, we're going to be in Ankeny. Who else can we grab on? We're just thinking who's fun and who's knowledgeable about fishing and who we've been kind of following, at least on social media a little bit. So we have Mr. Cory Weaver. How's it going, sir?
Good. How you guys doing?
Not too bad, not too bad.
Do you have an alias? Like what's another name that people would know you by? Like if they heard.
Most of my names I'm given aren't family friendly.
Yeah, other than cuss words.
Yeah. But if you guys haven't seen, we have Cory on before previously on our podcast. We weren't in person because that was due to COVID stuff. I think that was a little bit over a year or so ago you've been on?
Yeah, it's been a little while.
Yeah, so you've been busy, man. How you been?
Very busy. I'm doing good. Doing really good.
Yeah.
Is anybody ever like, hey, you're the JB's Fishsauce guy?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I get that.
There's your alias. JB's Fishsauce guy.
So you guys, because we have a lot of new listeners. You guys are wondering, all right, who's Cory Weaver? He's the owner of JB's Fishsauce, co-owner of JB's Fishsauce, and then on top of that, he's I really want to get into this a lot more because I know you've been grinding your ass off the past. I think I've been following for like a little bit over a year or so now on the tournament scene. So we want a little bit know a little bit more about that. But if you don't mind, just give us a fresh reminder how what is it like to be a part of JB's Fishsauce, and then just what you've been up to.
Yeah. So JB's Fishsauce, we're going on our third year of ownership now. It's a lot of fun and it's a lot of stress and headaches at the same time, as with any small business, Trying to keep that small business feel, but you want to grow and prosper as much as possible too. It's a lot of stress, a lot of work involved. It's not always an immediate reward, as with any small business that you're trying to grow, but it's a blast. We're blessed. We get to meet so many cool people in the industry and work with so many cool people. We sponsor a lot of pros, made a lot of great friends, have a lot of great contacts, just strictly due to being a part of the industry. And it's a lot of fun going to shows, traveling around. It's a lot of fun.
And then for just some of our new listeners, what is JB's Fishsauce? Just quickly, so they know, okay, what is JB's?
Yeah, so JB's Fishsauce is fish attractants. Fish attractants that you apply to your baits, whether directly to your baits. We have many different styles, applications, many different scents, covering pretty much every species of fish that you can think of. We have I can't remember how many companies now, but we have a lot of soft plastic bait makers across the country that use our scented worm oils in their products. So yeah, we have a lot of offerings out there.
I was so excited to talk about fishing. I totally forgot. We're at Fire Trucker Brewery, and I'm drinking the Iowa IPA.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know, man. I didn't even introduce the brewery we're at. That's why you see that big F here. It's pretty cool. That's their logo for Fire Trucker. So shout out to them for hosting us today here, letting us kind of recorded their tap room.
Yeah. So which one do you have, Cory?
I forget the name of it. Tropical something. It's basically a double IPA with a hint of mango to it. So it's a nice, refreshing summer drink.
I'm guessing it's like 8% or something.
Yeah, this is like a 8.5. I can't climb that double digit status like you guys, but
this one's I think this one's a more normal 6 or something. Yeah.
Normal 6. We said that like it's normal.
Yeah.
Right. For reference, your Bud Lights, Busch Lights, Coors Lights are 4.2. I think they're all 4.2.
Yeah, all those domestic like lighter lagers and everything. Yeah, like Busch Light, Bud Light, Miller Lite, Coors Light. I believe they're all 4.2. And then once you get to like, I think Budweiser, Heineken, I think goes up a little bit higher. I think it's like 5s, around 5-ish or so. 5-ish. Obviously more sugar in
Bud
it.
Heavy, quote unquote heavy.
I think they're called different now. I think it's called like the American beer now. It's not. If you look at it, like, can it get a Bud? You know, it's not a Budweiser anymore. I think all their cans is like American or something like that.
But it's still Budweiser, right?
Technically, yeah. I mean, it's still InBev. Not a local company. See, we support local, by the way. So, FYI.
As much as possible.
As much as possible. But then there's certain days, you know, you can only do what you can do.
So. Yeah. This guy's rocking a couple local companies in his outfit right
there. There you go.
A couple of my buddies out there, Saki Fishing, Backyard Bait Shop. A couple great guys, a couple great little companies going here locally, and awesome guys.
Yeah, awesome hooks. Jig heads, by the way.
Yes. So everyone knows I'm sponsored by Hayabusa. I use Hayabusa for 99% of my fishing, but anytime I need custom-made jigs or custom-made hooks for very specific applications that I can't get through them, this is who I call. You can get any color, any jig made. Check them out.
That's basically all the jig heads I use.
Yeah.
No. Well, I'm not sponsored by anybody, but
fishing wise, right?
Fishing wise. But yeah, he's got some awesome jig heads.
Yeah. Yep. Check them out.
Well, you guys already know Sean, Saki Fishing.
Yep.
Uses ice rods.
Just had him on recently. He's we were just kind of talking offline. He's been doing pretty good fishing and stuff. At least what social media shows us. I think.
Yeah.
He says it's because he got a boat, and that's the main reason.
He's forced himself to get out there more. You learn more when you're on the water. You know, that's one of the few differences between being limited to the bank and even just having a kayak or a canoe or a small boat. You know, you don't have to have a $100,000 boat like some of us in the industry do for what we're doing. Any ability to expand your learning process, to get out on the water, to see more, experience more, your fishing is going to improve. It can only get better.
Right. And, well, mobility is huge when it comes to fishing. Because you can sit in one spot on the bank. Sure, it's fishing, but you might not be catching shit.
Well, like I'm kicking myself this year because our rivers, everyone knows, so my fun pastime when I'm not out there tournament fishing has been flathead fishing the last few years. And we haven't had any water for the last 3 years. I mean, we've been in a major drought, no water. It was getting to where my big kayak wasn't hardly usable. I was pushing it more than I was riding in it. You know?
Really?
And the water was getting so low. And so I sold it this year because I wanted to get a little bit smaller version and to compensate for that. And of course, this year we get a ton of rain. We're still not way up there or back to normal, but we got a lot more water than normal.
Oh, yeah.
And now I can't hike to the same places. You know, a lot of my success the last couple of years was being mobile, and I was willing to hike and go to places that 90% of the guys out there aren't willing to put in that effort. Mm-hmm. And now I'm restricted. I can't get as far as I used to go. So I've had to learn to compensate for that, but it's been good.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I remember I texted you. I was like, hey, let's get the kayak out. You're like, I sold it. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Bad timing. Timing. That's a bad decision.
But, the cool thing, so everybody knows that, Cory, I think you do... I think you give good perspective on everything from shore fishing, kayak fishing, boat fishing, tournament fishing. Of all those, if you could just do for the rest of your life, what would you like? What would you say? You know what? I'm okay doing this for the rest of my life.
The most enjoyable?
Yeah, to you personally.
Wow.
I'm asking it because tournament anglers, I know you guys get competitive and everything like that, but as you personally, I'm just curious, like, what's most enjoyable for you, whether species or bank fish or whatever case may be?
Recently, it's been flathead fishing. Overall, probably smallmouth fishing. I mean, there's some destinations you can go to. I'm getting ready to go up to one here next week. Smallmouth fishing. If you haven't experienced great smallmouth fishing, we have a few smallmouth possibilities here in Iowa.
We're in Iowa, so that's like nobody here.
Right.
I mean, everybody here hasn't.
But if you get to go experience Mille Lacs or 1,000 Islands in New York or Lake St. Clair, and you can go catch 100 or more 3 to 5 pound smallmouth a day.
Jeez.
I mean, there's nothing like it. But as far as overall enjoyment, I truly enjoy flathead fishing. There's something about getting out in the middle of nowhere, camping out, having a fire, drinking a couple beers, and you might catch a couple great fish. You might catch one, you might not catch any. And I truly don't care when I leave what the result was. Yeah, we all want to catch something, but I'm still happy, and I still got to distance myself from the everyday stress of life, and that's kind of my unwinding, my get away from the realities of life.
I can respect that.
You've caught a couple of nice ones this year.
I've had a pretty good season quietly. I haven't been posting everything.
Okay. But we just got a little teaser.
Yeah, I've had a little bit of success, a little bit of luck this year. Because now I'm relearning. As I hinted at earlier, we haven't had any water the last 3 years, so I've never fished for flatheads during normal or high water. And it's completely different than during low water situations. And so I've hit a few home runs this year, and I've had a couple of not so good trips, but that's part of it. But we've had a little fun this year.
That's always good. And then I think our last episode, Fishing Kid and myself, we were talking, we had Jeremy on, and we were just talking like, we kind of dabbed a little bit into the flatheads.
Well, 3 guys that don't know anything about flatheads, we're talking about flathead fishing.
Pretty much. That's exactly what we did. We talked for like maybe 30 minutes. Maybe we had a few beverages in by then, but it's all right. But someone like you that I think it was a couple years ago that you were focused like to learn this craft of how to chase the flathead, to target and everything, and it was kind of cool. It'd be seeing your whole journey, because you were posting the pictures, a couple videos here and there, just kind of following you and everything.
That was 3 years ago.
There you go.
So it's been that long.
Yeah, this is my 3rd season attempting this.
So we were talking, we're like, you know what? Shit, we might start targeting flatheads, because he was talking about it. He's like, that might be a species he's going to kind of get into and kind of start targeting. Yeah. From your experience of, because seeing you how the growing pains, I guess you could say, but what would you say is like, all right, guys, bottom line, this is it about flatheads. Like, what did you find out? What would you recommend to somebody who's contemplating or who's possibly getting into flathead catfishing?
From the basics, obviously you want to have appropriate gear. By appropriate gear, I don't mean you don't have to go buy the most expensive rods and reels out there. You do want decent quality setups, got to have good line because you're going to be fishing in some nasty junk. Line is one of the most important things. Quality hooks. But today, there's so much information out there, so many videos you can watch and learn from. The biggest thing is there is no hard set rule on how to go catch a flathead. Like, as soon as you think you have May figured out, or you have June figured out, or you have July figured out, every trip is different. Like you were speaking to, I started 3 years ago, and I posted every trip I made that year. I went 11 trips without catching a fish.
11.
And I posted every one of them and shared that experience, and that was the reality of it. I went 11 straight trips, and then the light bulbs slowly started going off. Okay. And from each, first of all, I keep a journal of every trip I make. I keep track of everything from wind, clouds, sun, rain, temperature, estimated water temperature, depths, type of locations, every piece of information I can. I have a log I keep in my phone that I can go back and reference.
So what was the aha moment where you're like, oh, this is it?
Wow. So toward the end of that first season, I think the aha moment was really that I was too focused on specific types of spots or specific types of cover. I think the biggest thing is locating the best food supply bait option closest to the best types of cover or situations. Those fish make a living eating, and they know where to go get food. So
right.
You can have the greatest looking cover, but if there's no bait around, they're not going to use that cover.
Right.
So I think locating bait, experimenting with different types of baits. You know, when I first started out, well, everybody was bullhead's the number one bait. So
I hear that a lot.
So all I was fishing with was bullheads. And then, no, green sunfish are the number one bait. Okay, so then I did 3 trips and I fished nothing but green sunfish. And now I've actually learned to, you know, we can use 3 rods if you buy the extra license here in Iowa. So I start out my trips with a different bait on every rod. And I let the fish tell me what they want. And that's been very helpful. And it's weird how fast it changes. There's some nights you'll get bit on nothing but bullheads. There's some nights you'll get bit on nothing but bluegills. There's some nights you'll get bit on nothing but green sunfish. There's some nights you won't get bit on nothing but cut shad or whatever. And then there's some great nights where it doesn't matter what you have out there. It's just where they want to be and they're hungry. So I don't know. I don't think anyone can truly 100%, especially in our waters. You know, our rivers, our opportunities here aren't like some of the other states that have humongous rivers or river-fed lake systems where there's just ample opportunities everywhere, and their fish populations are much greater than ours. We have a pretty good population here. But I wouldn't say we have a great population here.
Right. Yeah, I was talking on our last episode. Like, I don't know if you watch Kayak Catfish, but he's catching flatheads as bycatch all the dang time.
Right. You know, those guys can fish all day long in the middle of the day and have, 10 fish days in the middle of the day, whereas here on our waters, it's unless you're right in their face or right in their house, it's very tough to get bit during the day.
We gotta work a little harder.
Yeah, we gotta work a little harder.
Is You guys can help me. I have no idea. So, flatheads, are they more south and Midwest than north?
I feel like we're maybe kind of at like their upper range, aren't we?
Yeah.
Here in Iowa.
So,
Minnesota and Wisconsin have a few quality opportunities, but you're not going to go much farther than central, from what I've been able to discover. But yeah, you get to central and the top of the southern range of the country, and that's where your best opportunities are. And those guys also have the luxury of they're also catching, they could catch a 70-pound flathead or they could catch a 70-pound blue cat.
Right.
So it makes it even more fun. They have more, which is something I haven't gotten to do yet. I've caught some blue cats. I've gone on a few things on my own, but I haven't truly got to go chase one of those mega blue cats, and
it's
fun. I'd like to get that done. Something about having the opportunity to catch a 100-pound cat. It's something I gotta do soon.
I'm not much of a flathead fisherman because, well, it seems to be kind of a after hours kind of thing here in Iowa, at least.
Mm-hmm.
So I work 6 in the morning, so till 3 p.m., 4 p.m., whatever.
Right.
So I can't go out during the week, stay out till let me rephrase that. I can.
You have to be crazy like me and be willing to go weeks at a time without sleep.
Yeah, I could technically, but it's after, if I gotta wake up at 5 in the morning, it's kind of tough staying out till 2, 3 at night and then going straight to work. I guess I'm not as hardcore as some guys.
Well, you're probably smarter than some of us. Most people need more than 6 hours sleep a week. Some of us take that 6 hours and run with it.
But you work overnights regularly, don't you?
Yeah, so
it's not like nothing's really changing too much for you as far as sleep goes. For me, it's like, okay, I'll stay out till 3 in the morning, sleep for 2 hours, go to work. I'm gonna be freaking toast that evening.
Right.
I'm just making up excuses. But, it is something I do want to start trying to get into.
Right. No, but it's definitely a commitment. It's a learning process, and it's something, I don't know, you have to be open-minded. You have to be okay with failing, knowing that eventually it's going to click and you're going to get better at it.
Do you have a bait tank?
I do not.
I think it might.
So I need to, because that's another reason I don't get any sleep. So when I make the commitment to go on a trip,
you got to go catch your bait.
I gotta go catch my bait so I can go fishing.
Man. Okay.
Having a bait tank would be huge. I don't necessarily have the space for it at the moment. I mean, I could make it happen. But luckily, there's a lot of bait opportunities in my vicinity, so it's usually not too bad. But yeah, if you want to get serious about it or want to save yourself time, having a bait tank and only having to commit one day to multiple trips is a huge deal.
I think by this weekend I'm gonna have a bait tank going.
Oh, shoot!
All right.
I'm kind of getting the ball rolling.
Nice.
I just gotta figure out this whole sleep thing.
Yeah.
So
Sleep's overrated, man.
It is. It is.
I can chip in, and if Kit, I need some bait, be okay.
Yeah. You want to swing over and grab it?
All right. I might have to do that, man, because I want to get better, or I want to go get out and catfish a little bit more.
Okay, before we get on to the whole tournament thing, speaking of the tournament thing, so are we talking about bass tournaments?
Yes.
For a bass tournament guy, we've been talking about catfish for, I feel like 20 minutes already, which seems absurd. Would you label yourself as a bass fisherman? We kind of had this conversation before. I was like, I don't think bass fishermen, so-called self-proclaimed bass fishermen, go catfishing. I feel like you're more just a guy that happens to do bass tournaments, and you fish for everything else.
Right. So I would consider myself a very competitive person. And since I was 15 years old when I started fishing tournaments, that just filled my competitive drive or need or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I've been fishing bass tournaments for most of my life. I took about 10 years off from serious tournament fishing. But there was a time when I was younger, I was fishing probably up to 5 tournaments a week.
Wow. Holy cow.
If there wasn't ice on the lake, I was fishing a tournament somewhere. But it was all lower level stuff, just weeknight tournaments, weekend warrior tournaments, clubs, federations, and then I started moving up into some bigger tournaments. But then kids happen, families happen, and just when I thought I was getting to where I could seriously take an opportunity at making the jump and trying to see if I could do it for a living, kids, family, stuff came on, other things in life happened, and I pretty much walked away from competitive fishing for 10 years.
Wow.
And now my kids are grown, got second one going to getting ready to start college this year, third one sophomore in high school, so they're getting to where they're self-sufficient, and now I'm preparing myself to make one last go at it. I'm not getting any younger.
Right. None of us are.
A lot has changed in the last 10 to 15 years, the advancement in electronics and everything else. But no, back to your original point. Yeah, I'm a bass fisherman, but no, I consider myself a fisherman. And I think to be the best fisherman you can be, no matter what your species of choice is, the more species you can get good at, great at, whatever you want to call it, the better you're going to be, no matter what your normal preferred species is. I feel like I can go anywhere at any time, and if you say, let's go catch bluegill, we're going to go pound some bluegill. If you say, let's go catch some crappie, we're going to go pound some crappie. I can go catch wipers anywhere. I can go catch catfish now anywhere. I feel like the more you learn, the more species you go after, the more there's a lot of similarities, yet there's a lot of differences, but the more species you learn how to get good at consistently, the better you're going to be at no matter what your preferred opportunity is.
Yeah, like, let's say a guy that only fishes for bass, so he's maybe, I'm just throwing a number out there, but maybe he's doing 5 techniques, because, they're bass techniques. As someone like you that goes walleye fishing, crappie fishing, or whatever, let's say you try those 5 bass techniques, right? And then you think, I do this for walleyes, which is a little bit different from these typical bass stuff. Or maybe that's the juice, right?
No, that's very true. Like, I've learned a ton. Like, I've gotten more serious in crappie fishing the last several years as well. I mean, I've always fished for bluegill, crappies, whatever, at home for table fare, for fun. But to actually get serious about it and get serious about chasing the biggest crappies you can find, which is where I find the most enjoyment. Some guys just want to go catch fish. I want to challenge myself, and if I'm crappie fishing, I want to go see how and where I can catch the biggest crappie I can catch. I don't care if I only catch 1 versus 100. If I can go find the sweet deal and catch the biggest ones available.
Doesn't everybody want to do that?
everybody claims or has that desire. 90% of them don't want to put in the work and effort that it truly takes to do it consistently.
That's true. I guess some guys just want to fill a cooler. It doesn't matter how big the fish are.
Well, and that's why you get the million questions, the same questions on every group, every post, you know. Where, what spot, what bait, what, you know, they ask 90% of the questions that are asked in groups or asked in person have nothing to do with improving yourself as an angler. You learn nothing by asking, what bait did you catch him on that day? Doesn't matter. I probably could have caught him on 4 different baits that day.
Right.
You know, what was it about that spot, or what was it about the conditions that day? There's so many more questions and so much more that goes into it that people don't even think about.
The fish just happened to be there that day.
Right. Sometimes you just get lucky, which I've had a couple of those days this year, especially flathead fishing. I had spots that I wanted to, my 2 best days, I had spots that I wanted to go to. I couldn't get to them. So I went as far as I could and picked the best looking opportunity that I felt like I at least had a chance to get a bite that night. And I had 5 fish with 2 monsters the one night. I had 3 fish with 1 big one, and sometimes it is just a little bit of luck, but you also create your luck. Very good anglers get lucky a lot more than the normal person.
Yeah. You do make your own luck. Okay, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So you've made a few, well, off the top of my head, at least 3 appearances in YouTube fishing videos. And
I know
2 of those times you went into the water. The other time you almost went into the water. Is this like a common thing for you?
Right.
Like, say, when there's no cameras rolling, are you jumping back into your kayak or almost falling in the water all the time, or what?
So yeah, no, there's been more YouTube appearances than that, but those are the
ones that stand out.
Right, those are the ones that stand out. So there's a few things that have attributed to that. The first one, I flipped the kayak in the river, and I'm actually pretty lucky to be alive.
That was scary.
I got myself in I was in a prime spot for the fish. But what a lot of people don't understand the dangers of kayaking rivers is, so when you're going into a brush pile, the current is coming into the brush pile. Not only does it start to create a swirl this way, but when it's hitting that brush pile or that root wad or whatever it is that you're fishing, it also starts creating an undercurrent this way.
Okay.
So you have 2 different forces going there at the same time, and it'll actually, I'm going to call it a sweet spot, but it's not. I should call it the death spot. There's actually a spot in there that if you get yourself in that spot, it's almost like a vacuum. It'll literally just
Sucks you in.
It'll suck you under so fast that turn you over. And, with our rivers, there's so much fishing line, debris, so much stuff out there that you can get snagged in. I actually got very lucky that day. I lost several rods, lost quite a bit of gear, my phone. Ironically, we went back like a month later and got all my rods back.
Did you get every single rod?
Yeah, we got all my rods back.
Crazy.
Of course, they were in very good condition. I was able to clean them up and salvage most of it. So that was the first one. That was kind of that was one of my very first river kayaking trips with that much gear. Got camping gear in the boat, got bait tanks in the boat, got coolers and beverages in the boat, which I wouldn't recommend. Not the smartest approach.
I ain't gonna lie, I haven't done the river kayaking. I'm a little intimidated by it.
Yeah, I would definitely not go alone. Would be my recommendation.
Okay.
Obviously, the second one you're referring to. So I got on kind of quietly got on a pretty hot big wiper and big crappie bite last fall going into winter.
It was borderline winter.
Right. I kept it quiet for a good 4 or 5 weeks before I started showing. I decided I had enough fun. I would show people the opportunities that are out there. And so we go on a trip and fishing, and I catch one of the biggest wipers I've ever seen on that body of water.
Yeah.
I get it up to the kayak. I don't have a net, which is dumb if you're going to chase big fish in a kayak. Probably ought to have a net or a safe way of landing fish. But I get right up next to the kayak, and I'm reaching to grab him, and my line breaks. And the fish is still stunned, tired, doesn't realize he's not hooked anymore, and is just sitting there. Out of instinct, I lunge to grab the fish. I have a very bad back right now. I had an accident at work a few years ago. I've got a lot of issues with my back. My muscles don't work the same anymore. The momentum of lunging to grab that fish, I have one of the most stable kayaks you can possibly buy, by the way. Like, it's literally impossible to flip this kayak. And it didn't flip. I literally rolled out of the kayak.
There you go.
In the process, my foot kicked my Vexlar and another custom rod into the water that I lost. It was a very expensive day. Thank God I had a float suit on, so I was in and out of the water, back in the kayak in no time.
Quick, back to you were catching fish again in like 10 minutes.
I probably had another fish on within 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Soaking wet, drenched head to toe. Luckily, I had the gear for it, and I decided, since I had someone else there with me, I wanted to test my gear because I am literally soaked head to toe. It was probably, 40 degrees out. The water was only like 38 that day.
Yeah. The water was cold.
It was cold, but I decided, okay, I always pack spare clothes, blankets, all the emergency essentials in my truck. We weren't far away from the truck. I wanted to test my gear out and test my body out to see how much I could handle, because I do a lot of solo trips. Don't always have someone there with me, so in my mind, this is a good opportunity to see what my body and what my gear can handle.
So, all the listeners, don't worry about it. We're gonna put links, just for Cory's favor. We're gonna put links to
up there.
Fishing. If you're watching on YouTube, Fishing Kid's gonna put the link right there. The video, the second video.
Right.
The first video, I'm gonna have.
We can link that too. We still link that first one.
We'll link that. I think that was. You were with
and the third one, and we can link the third one. We haven't gotten into the third one.
Yeah.
Well, it's almost.
So the third trip that took place this year. So many variables. I hadn't slept in 3 days, which is, don't recommend for anybody. It's not smart, but this is a normal part of my life. I hadn't slept for 3 days. Just got done working full shift, going on this trip. Cool, fired up, ready to go. We get out there on the boat, and we were using a combination of live bait and cut shad that day. Well, where we decided to cut up the shad that day was on the rear of the boat, right in front of all the rods. So we're cutting.
Seems like a good place.
Yeah.
Seems like a good place.
Not a well thought out, but normally it's not a bad idea. So anyhow, get a bite. I jump up, and for some reason I had my drag, which I do a lot, depending on where you're fishing. I had my drag completely locked down. Like, it's either going to break the rod, break the line, or I can do whatever I want with that fish. Because sometimes you have to get them out of that cover. So anyhow, I set the hook on the fish, not expecting to be as big as it was, and literally it doesn't even faze him, and he starts pulling. I have no drag.
Oh no! Oh boy!
Slimy on the boat, and it literally just starts dragging me across the boat, and I run out of foot. There's no more boat.
so you're walking on water,
and everyone knows I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I'm not letting go of this rod or this fish. I'm willing to go swim with this fish. And finally, Spencer's like, "You think you might want to loosen that drag?" He grabs the back of me. We get the drag loosened up. We get the fish in, but yeah. I almost went head first in the river.
Oh boy!
With that fish, but
it kind of paints a picture. Let's say you've appeared in 6. Yeah, I'll give you the benefit of that. 6 videos. So half the time you're either in the water or almost going into the water.
I'd like to call it commitment.
There we go.
And I'm committed to the craft.
I like that.
In my head, I'm thinking like, man, does Cory have these moments like every other time he goes fishing or what?
Yeah, it's probably a good thing that I'm not very good at the YouTube thing. Like, I'm not good at editing. I have a lot of stuff recorded from the last couple of years, but I don't have the time and I don't have the equipment or the knowledge of the editing side. Otherwise, everybody would think I'm an even bigger idiot than they already do.
It'd be damn entertaining. You gotta think. You gotta think of it that way. It'd be pretty damn entertaining of what not to do.
Yeah.
There we go.
A lot of good opportunities to learn what not to do.
Let's take a break. I gotta go potty, and then you want a refill?
We better get a refill.
We gotta do a refill. So we'll be right back, guys. Almost that was my bad. Try not to pound the table. I forgot to tell you.
Oh, did I hit the table?
No. It's just listen to this. Hear that?
Mm-hmm.
It for some reason when you do podcasts, it just amplifies it.
Well, because the mics are on the table and you hit the table.
That's why too. We don't. Sorry, man. We're not super rich to have those fancy schmancies.
The hanging coming in from the sides.
That's like my version of going in the water. Podcast, I'm screwing up the sound.
Hey, we might keep this one. We might keep this. This has been recording. So here, let me do it the fishing kit style. To resync it. Do you have to add the third or
Cheers.
just a case?
No, just one.
Oh.
Because if you do multiple, then you got to figure out which one lines up with which.
Ah, shit. Now you tell me. Just one. All right.
First time?
Cheers.
Yeah, first time.
First time. Oh, first timer.
Did you switch it up? That looks darker.
Yeah, I went dark. Oh, by the way, guys, I'm doing the oatmeal stout from Fire Trucker here. Been doing a lot of IPAs lately, so I figured, you know what, I'm going to go a little bit dark. I love dark beer, too.
Yeah, I'm terrible. I switched it up, but I forgot what it's called. It's a wheat beer.
I asked so I could remember this time. This is the Tropical Burn. Very refreshing for hot summer days. Give it a try.
Yeah, this guy's got a dark beer over here for a 95-degree day.
It's all right.
We're drinking coffee, man.
We're inside with freaking AC, and it's, I love coffee, too. I love, dark. Hey, nothing wrong with dark beer, guys. So this is the one thing that a lot of people don't realize. Like, dark beer does not necessarily mean it's stronger or more alcohol content. FYI. Most of the times, if you guys are listening, if you guys just starting to get into the craft beer thing, most of the times you'd be surprised. Stout beers, like the darker beers, have lighter alcohol content, ABVs. Go look at it. I bet you this stout right now.
But a stronger flavor.
It just depends. In
my experience, I haven't dabbled a lot with it just because I tried a couple in my early on days of craft beers, and
it's more.
I didn't find one I liked, so I never went back to it.
I would say it's heartier and nuttier.
I was gonna say I have a feeling you're gonna say nutty. He's doing this hand thing.
Whoa. Whoa.
Andrew Zimmern.
Is this a common occurrence?
Yeah. Andrew,
oh boy, here we go.
It reminds me of Andrew Zimmern, the food guy.
The food guy.
What was his show? Damn it. Everybody calls him Andrew Zimmerman, but it's actually Andrew Zimmern.
I think it was just me that called it Andrew Zimmerman.
Everybody calls him Andrew Zimmerman.
Because I'm not the only one. Okay.
And he does this thing with his hands, like, it's nutty. And you were starting to do it, and then the word came out before I didn't want to cut you off, and you said it.
It's
nutty.
It's like it's extreme foods or exotic. I know what you're talking about. What
it's not man versus food.
No. It's extreme. It's like exotic. he eats some weird shit on his shows.
Right, he's the one that goes to different countries and tries the most bizarre
He's
stuff.
the ball.
Bizarre foods?
Bizarre foods. That's it.
I think that's what it's called.
Yeah,
Bizarre
it is.
Foods.
I'm a genius.
Wow. Cheers to that, guys. Cheers, cheers, cheers.
I've probably only seen one episode. I just got lucky. Sometimes it pays to get lucky.
I used to watch that stuff, like him and Anthony Bourdain. I used to love
Rest
watching
in
that
peace,
stuff.
Anthony Bourdain. I do. Actually, I did too. I wouldn't say I secretly watch it, but it's one of those things where I'm laying in bed, putting the kids to sleep, and then I don't know, man. I love food.
You fall asleep to a cooking show.
I do. Is that weird?
It's not what I do, but that doesn't make it weird. That doesn't make it weird.
I don't know. I don't know, man. Cooking shows like food.
Okay, speaking of food, based on your post today, I saw you kept some bass for dinner, huh?
Yummy.
That was
so. How does a bass fisherman? How does he live with himself if he's taking a fish basket full of bass home?
The reality is, it doesn't bother me 1%. We are not going to run out of largemouth bass in this country. I promise you. I promise you.
But from the responses,
all the bass guys out there that go crazy, it's ridiculous.
Oh, some people were going crazy.
Right. So my post today was 100% sarcasm. Not a single word was true. I was getting annoyed at the amount of ridiculous posts lately.
Oh, that group's been going crazy.
Right, and it's not just that group. I mean, there's multiple groups now. It's sad to see what our society and what our fishing community is becoming as a whole. It used to be fishermen, didn't matter what you chase, everyone just supported each other in fishing, and now it's become a contest, an ego thing.
It's a social media contest. It's not even
a
like
judgment thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what you would call it, but it's gotten very ridiculous and hard to take in every day, constantly.
Okay, in context, Cory made a post coming from a bass tournament guy. He posted a picture. There was a fish basket full to the brim.
Well, the fish basket wasn't me.
I thought that was you.
No, that was a different guy that posted that one.
I swear that was you.
No, he was adding to the
fire.
Oh.
He was adding to the fire.
Oh,
no,
shit.
I included no picture with mine because mine was 100% made up, did not happen. I didn't have a photo to add to.
In my mind, coming into this, I just saw, I think you made a few comments. That's why I associated that picture with you. I was like, man, Cory's got some balls being a bass tournament guy.
For sure.
Posting a picture of a fish basket full of bass.
Right.
See, that's what you were telling me. I was like, dang, he really did that? Because we were just talking off, like, kids like, yeah, he posted a picture. I was like, holy shit. Because I saw the post too. I was like, man, somebody's going to get a real hurt on this one.
Right.
Some people were getting pissed off.
It's ridiculous what's been going on. But it extends to out on the water, too. The original post several days ago that sparked it all.
Oh, yeah. There's been a running gag in this group.
I mean, the whole thing is just ridiculous. This whole concept of walleye guys think they're better than bass guys. Bass guys think they're better than muskie guys. Muskie guys think they're the king of the world. Catfish guys just want to go fishing.
Yeah, they don't think they're better than anybody.
Right. But even now, you're slowly starting to see some guys that think that that are falling into the trap of what social media is doing to our industry.
As catfishing gets more mainstream, you're gonna get that.
Right. We got pond warriors out there that think they're the greatest fishermen in the world. They're fishing in a barrel. I mean, come on.
Oh boy. We're gonna get some pond fishermen like no.
A lot of pond guys are bass guys too. By the way.
We got walleye pros that do nothing but fish spillways, where they're trapped there for 6 weeks a year, and it's just, come on, guys, just enjoy fishing, cheer each other on, high five, nice catch. Why can't we just say, a positive thing about someone else's catch or move on. Why does it have to turn into what it does?
That is, you're pretty much spot on, guys. Like, I mean, it's guys, it just ruins your day when you go to somebody's post. I don't care if you like hate it, whatever the case. Worst case, just swipe.
Right.
You don't have to put your. I mean, I guess you can put your comments. I get it. It's like a free country, but it's just gonna make more negativity even worse. It's just like, dude, if you don't like it, if you're just like whatever, as long as they're not doing anything illegal, just.
Right.
If it's not for you, then
I mean, like the most common ones are. I mean, I've seen a couple million bass in my life, and a guy posts a picture of a 3-pound bass and calls it a 7-pounder. Oh. And immediately there's 100 guys just ripping this. This was probably this poor guy's biggest catch of his life, like his best day on the water ever. He's excited. Who cares what it actually weighs?
Thank you.
I can easily click like, say nice catch, and move on.
Simple.
I don't care that it didn't weigh 7 pounds.
Yeah.
I don't care that I know what it probably really weighed.
It doesn't affect you.
I'm pretty good at estimating weight after all the experience that I've had, but I don't care. If that's a 7-pounder and that's a good memory in his mind, high five, dude. Nice job. I'm scrolling on. I don't care.
Thank you.
Maybe
it's true.
Maybe it's a side effect from people going on. Like he just sees all these guys catching big fish on his Facebook stream, and then he's like, okay, maybe I'll just stretch the truth a little bit, and people will be like, yeah, good job.
Yeah. No.
Because everybody loves the click, the likes. They want to see the views and the likes.
Right.
I mean,
it's like a little dopamine hit.
We said that.
You know, and I think there's a difference in people that post. Like, it's almost become an arrogant ego thing of how many pictures we can produce or how much we can brag about what we catch.
For sure.
Whereas I feel like when I'm posting, I'm trying to share the opportunities that are available out there. You know, I'm nowhere near the best flathead fisherman out there. I've had a little bit of success the last couple of years. I post pictures to get to maybe, how do I want to say it? Maybe light the fire in somebody that has always wanted to catfish, but has been afraid to go try or learn or put in the work that it takes to do it. I want to share the opportunity that is really there, that anybody can go do this. I've never fished for flatheads before in my life before 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. If you want to learn how to do it, you can go find success doing it.
But you know,
that's where my photos come from. Obviously, on the professional side, when I'm bass fishing, tournament fishing, I have certain obligations I have to do
for sure
with some photos. But for the most part, it has nothing to do with ego. It has nothing to do with look what I caught. Mm-hmm. My message is to the guys out there of what truly is available. I don't hide where I fish. I don't hide what I'm catching. I've had a lot of success on the ice. I have a few stalkers out there that try to follow me all winter long.
Yeah, so what's up with these messages? I know that you mentioned, people have been PMing you.
Oh, because of that post that you were referring to. So my post this was my post, not the one you got it confused with was totally different. Mm-hmm. So my post today was, man, I had a great day yesterday. I caught a huge flathead on Big Creek, which... There's no flathead in Big Creek. There might be a couple. It's possible with the river system, but I caught a huge flathead, which, to my surprise, had a big muskie hanging out of its mouth, in its gullet. And when I pulled the muskie out, there was a walleye inside the muskie.
Well, because muskies eat all the walleyes,
right,
obviously.
That's where I was going with it, because the walleyes get pissed. The walleye guys get pissed off about the muskie guys, so. Yeah, I said the muskie had this walleye in it. Well, I took both of those trash fish, referencing the walleye and the muskie, and I threw them on the bank. I released the flathead, and then I ate the 6-pound largemouth that I caught. That was my post.
That's where I got mixed up.
None of it happened. But I just knew
social media, man. But
right.
You know what? But my thing is, man, you're a better man than me. I post shit because I'm here for ego and bragging, right?
He's desperate.
I'm desperate as. Sorry, we're gonna have to edit that word out, but I'm desperate as. Because I don't get a fish that often, and when I catch a 12-inch crappie, mofos, I'm gonna make it look like 15-inch.
He's the stretchy arm guy.
A 12-inch crappie in Iowa.
That's a decent. That's a pretty good crappie.
At the end of the day, you guys follow me. If you guys follow Mall Pop Fishing, I am the stretchy arm guy. I don't care.
He is the stretchy arm guy.
But you guys know what? At the end of the day, I just love to have fun, and I am excited when I caught those fish. I don't care, man. I can catch a freaking 2-pound freaking white bass, and I'm excited because I don't get to go out that often. I really enjoy it, and I just want to show people. I text all my friends all the time, my in-laws. You see all my text message. I don't care what kind of fish I catch. I share it because, dude, I'm having fun. I'm enjoying it. I don't care, but a lot of people do. So that's the
not everybody goes and catch fish all the time like Cory over here.
Hey, I skunk as much as everybody else. I struggle as much as everybody out there because I choose to target, whether it be big fish only or whatever. I struggle just as much as anybody out there. I'm not above anybody. I'm very low on the totem pole of great fishermen out there.
It's just funny because it was just like
I'm fortunate to have a lifetime of practice and experience. I mean, I've been doing it since the day I was born. I'm fortunate. I had a stepfather that, when I was a kid, we fished to survive, so to speak. There was a lot of rough times. I'm 45. Yeah. Something
I don't
like
know.
that.
Don't ask me.
Yeah, I'm 45. But there were some rough times back then, and when I was a kid, we hunted and fished for food.
For sure.
It wasn't for fun. It was. It was for fun. But we hunted and fished for food a lot, and that's just the way it was. And then the addiction grew from there to now. I'm broke because I'm a fisherman.
It was just funny though, because Fishing Kid and myself, we were just talking. We were just like, social media is just insane. We were just talking offline about posting and stuff, but especially because you're a tournament angler, so we're like, hey, he posted that, like, hey, he's asking for it. So that was a funny thing.
Yeah, I got my posts construed with each other.
Got them a little intermixed, but that's all right.
So okay. We were talking a little bit earlier, like, okay, you haven't tournament fished for 10 years. You literally took, a lot of time off, So how has it been coming back to, so for non-tournament fishermen, we have no idea what it entails and all that stuff. So, but everybody has a little bit competitive spirit in them. So there's probably a few people who are listening, like, so what is it about tournament fishing? Well, how has it been since you came back to the scene for, it's been two and a half, 3 years, I think now, when we had you last time.
So it's been 2 solid seasons of my return to tournament fishing. It's been good. It's been about what I could expect. I haven't bought my boat yet, so for those that don't know, I've been fishing the Bassmaster Opens as a co-angler, which means you get paired up with a different pro each day of the tournament.
Oh, okay.
You're fishing out of the back of a pro's boat. And basically I'm doing it because my goal is to next year, ultimately, I want it to be this coming season. I want to jump to the pro side. But these tournaments are all over the country, and there's a lot of fisheries that I haven't experienced yet. So the best way to learn these fisheries is, I've been very fortunate because of my relationships that I've made through JB's Fishsauce, and some guys that I sponsor and whatnot, and other people that I've met. I travel with multiple pros. I stay with them all week. I practice with them all week. So I'm getting to learn these bodies of water that I've never seen or fished before. So it's speeding up my learning curve, or getting back up to speed of today's version of tournament fishing, which is way different than it was 10, 15 years ago.
Can you explain the so in case somebody like listening that doesn't understand tournament fishing? Okay, so you have these professional anglers that in the big tournament. Right. So when you're co-angling, how does that even benefit them or you as?
Yeah, for the longest time, I thought you guys were just fishing as a team.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
That's not how it works.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so the way a simple version of how this works. So the Bassmaster Opens is basically the AAA version, if you want to use a baseball reference. It's the AAA league, and the only way you can qualify to get into the Bassmaster Elites, which is the #1 tournament trail, and ultimately the Bassmaster Classic, which is probably the Super Bowl of fishing. So the Bassmaster Opens is actually probably one of the toughest circuits out there because there's 225 boats at these tournaments. And most of these lakes that we're fishing aren't necessarily big enough for 225 boats.
Yeah.
But there's 225 pros, and then anybody, literally anybody here can decide, I want to be a co-angler, I'm going to sign up, and you can just show up the 2 day. There's 2 different ways to approach it. You can just show up for the 2 days of the tournament, and the day before there's a meeting, there's a drawing, they send you who you're paired with, and you call that guy, you make arrangements to meet the tournament morning, and you're fishing out of the back of that guy's boat all day. But you're not competing against him.
So these pro guys, they're not picking who's on the boat with them.
No. The tournament trail, it's a computer, they put you in a random drawing, and you get randomly paired with somebody each day of the tournament.
So for the pros, they're basically going into this tournament, they're basically agreeing that, okay, I'm going to have a Joe Schmo hop into the back of my boat.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a part of
it.
Yeah, so, but the goals are completely different, Most of the co-anglers are going, for the learning experience, for the fun of getting to fish with a pro, and for a chance to win some money. On the co-angler side, if it's a full field, first place pays between $25,000 and $35,000. It's pretty hefty. Entry fees are $475, plus your travel costs, plus your lodging. It's a very expensive. If you do it how I do it, it's very expensive and not very profitable. Because I go and practice all week. Like I said, I'm fortunate. I travel with Chris Boudry. Awesome guy. If you get a chance, go check out Chris Boudry Outdoors. This guy is going to make the elites in the next couple of years. Awesome fisherman, great guy. So I travel with him and a couple other guys, practice all week with them, and then come tournament day, it's a random selection of who you get paired with. Each day you fish with a different guy. Co-anglers fish 2 days. The pros fish 2 days, try to qualify for the championship day on the 3rd day.
So are you guys competing? Wait, hold on. Let me back up a little. Are you guys
I'm
competing?
keeping my own fish. The pros keeping his own fish.
But you guys are competing at the same time, not against each other, but
yes.
Okay.
We're in the boat together, fishing all day. Pros have to have a 5-fish limit, so they're trying to catch the 5 biggest fish they can.
And what are you fishing for?
Co-anglers have a 3-fish limit. We're fishing for the 3 biggest fish that we can catch. And then your total after the 2 days decides the winner out of all the co-anglers, which has nothing to do with the pros' weight. And the pros' weight, they're competing against all the other pros.
So how is that categorized? What's it called in? Okay, tournament A this weekend. The pros are there, co-anglers there. What is each tier called? Like Pro Series A and then Co-Angler Series?
No, it's just pros and co-anglers. So,
okay.
like, if you go on to Bassmaster.com, you can follow, like, this week I'm going up to New York to Oneida. If you go to bassmaster.com, you can click on the link. Our tournament's Thursday and Friday of next week, not tomorrow. I'll be up there practicing all week through next week. But tournament's next Thursday and Friday. Click on Bassmasters. You can follow what's called Bass Track. Click on the link, and anybody that's willing or wants to can post, can update every fish that they catch and their total weight throughout the day.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, there's a live weigh-in. You can watch the weigh-in. And then same thing the second day. You can follow Bass Track all day long for whoever wants to post their weights and their fish. There's a little gamesmanship. Not everyone is honest about their weights that they enter.
Oh, it sounds like the internet and fishing.
Right. Some guys don't take the time to enter at all. But yeah, you can go on. You can watch the weigh-ins live, and then you can follow up. There's some replays afterwards. But the co-anglers are only fishing against the other co-anglers, and the pros are only fishing against the pros. And it's different because I haven't been a co-angler since I was 17 years old. I started out fishing. If you want to get into tournament fishing, don't know how, not sure, join a local bass club. There's a ton of bass clubs out there. Many of them have a similar version of a boater versus a non-boater, or a boater versus a co-angler. If you don't have a boat, you're just getting started, want to learn, join a club that has the boater, non-boater format. And each tournament, you fish with a different guy in that club. And it's the best way to learn different techniques, different...
So my question is, I got a couple questions. Number one, you guys ever butt heads with, because obviously the pro is controlling the boat, right?
Right.
Okay. And then as a co-angler, you're like, shit, man, fish is over here, dude. Right. But he goes over there, and then you guys ever...
It ain't your boat, though.
Right. So you...
Right.
Okay.
So if you want to go to these pro events and fish as a co-angler, you have to understand that it's not a guide trip. They are not there to make sure you catch fish.
Okay.
You're there for the learning opportunity. You're there to catch what you can, but they're not there to cater to you. These guys, they've dedicated their living, their family depends on, they're trying to make it to the top level.
Okay.
It's not a guide service. Some guys are nicer than others. Some guys, for instance, a lot of guys, if you had a very good day one and you have a chance to win, they're going to help you out as much as possible on day two. If you draw them day two, they're going to help you out as much as possible, because it's kind of a cool ego thing for them to say,
hey, my co-angler
won
Okay.
this I was on such good fish, I did well, and my co-angler won.
Gotcha.
But there's a very fine line, there's a respect thing. So when you're fishing as a co-angler, you're not allowed to go up to the front deck.
Okay.
You have to stay in the back of the boat.
Okay.
There's an imaginary line at the halfway point in the boat. You're not allowed to cast past that halfway line.
Yeah, I was going to get into...
Because that's the pro's water. He's fishing what he wants to fish.
Okay.
Your job as a co-angler is to figure out, how can I catch fish back here? And there's some pros and there's some situations where they're fishing a specific rock pile or a specific tree or stump that they're going to position the boat to where you truly have no chance of getting to those fish.
Okay.
It's not mean, but their livelihood depends on it. It's just the way it is, and you accept that and know that going into the tournament.
Okay.
There's other fisheries where you're fishing giant flats and there's just fish everywhere and there's nothing they can do about it. You can cast anywhere and have an equal opportunity to catch a fish. But there's a respect thing that has to be established. There's a lot of guys that have butted heads. There's been fights. There's been... but it's all on how you approach it. So I always like to start my day. It begins the night before with a conversation on the phone. even though I have my goals and aspirations of jumping to their side next year or the following year, I'm always like, hey man, I'm just here to learn. I'm excited to fish with you. Let me know. Can I bring ice for the boat? Can I bring you? You're expected to bring gas money for them because these guys are spending up to $150, $200 a day in gas.
Jeez.
So, kind of a common courtesy is you bring a minimum of $50 to give to your pro. I tend to give them a little more. I tend to give them some samples of my products, being a business owner, whatever I can to butter these guys up and make them feel happy and good.
For sure.
The more at ease I make them, because there's co-anglers out there that truly try to compete with don't understand. They try to compete against their pro.
That's what I'm wondering.
And they're like up in their grill all day long, and it's not good. You're not going to have a good day. So I'm very opposite. I'm trying to make these guys as happy and friendly as I can from the moment I meet them, and it makes for a better day. I'm their biggest cheerleader while we're fishing. When they're catching fish, even if I'm not catching fish, I'm cheering them on. So I know if they're having a good day, they're going to give me a few more opportunities that I normally might not get.
For sure.
You're kind of just tagging along with them pretty much.
Yeah, you have no say-so of where you fish, how you fish. So even what I learn all week when I'm practicing with my buddies and the guys that I travel with, I might draw a guy that doesn't have a clue and is completely doing something completely different. In the back of my mind, I'm saying, I know where I can go, how I can go catch fish, where I can catch fish.
Do you ever give them a, hey?
Nope.
Oh, you don't say nothing at all? Okay. I don't know.
That's a good way to get blackballed. And
really? Okay.
Because why would these guys let me travel with them if I'm going to tell the pro that I get paired with how we've had success all week? Why is the guys that I'm traveling with ever going to let me travel and practice with them again?
Ooh, okay. No, that makes sense.
You're going into their house,
right?
And you don't want to be like, hey, you should put this sofa over there.
My buddy that I traveled with is competing against this guy. So I have a lot of guys that are asking, that might be struggling, that ask me, what'd you find this week? What'd you guys do? And I'm just like, I don't know, man. I'm just fishing.
No, that makes sense now I get that now because then you're just saying it blackballs you because what, you helping my competitor, but you were fishing with me practicing all week.
Right.
Okay.
So no, that's a very big no. If you want to get the advantages that I get with traveling and learning with these guys that are already at the pro level, yeah.
But I think a bigger thing, like what you're saying, is even better is that you're learning.
Yeah.
Like, look, that guy might not know anything about the specific lake or body of water, but he might have a specific technique that he's really good at that you can actually learn from if you just kind of sit back and just.
And there's all types, just because they're fishing on the pro side doesn't necessarily mean they're a pro. There's a lot of guys that just have money and like to go fishing, so they can afford to do it, so they do it.
That's what I was going to ask you.
But they're terrible fishermen.
We're not naming any names.
Relatively, right? Relatively terrible.
But you don't know, unfortunately, that's one of the downsides of our fishing industry and our economy and everything else. It's become a rich man's sport, so to speak.
Really?
Or we've almost created this, products are getting so expensive, rods are getting so expensive, electronics, all the advancements that come in fishing, we're almost secluding a very large portion of our customer base by just overpricing it all.
Really?
Money, I'm not saying it's going to be 100%, but money's kind of like the equalizer.
Right.
So the guy that, let's say, only fishes a couple times a week but has the best gear versus me, which I go all the time but I don't have the best gear.
Right.
Money kind of balances.
I mean, we got boats that literally
bit.
have $30,000-$40,000 worth of just electronics on them.
Yeah.
Most guys can't afford a $30,000 boat, let alone electronics to put on them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because I talk shit about bass fishermen all the time, and there's this. I'm learning this whole dynamic between the co-angler and the pro or whatever, and now I'm like, before you even got into it, I was like, is there it seems there's unwritten rules. I was gonna ask you, like, is there
written and unwritten rules?
I was gonna ask you. I mean, you already went into it. I was gonna say, is as a co-angler, can I not cast past a certain point?
Yeah.
And can the pro, like, hey, I'm gonna cast behind you, co-angler. It don't matter. It's my boat, anyways.
Does that happen?
There's sometimes, and you kind of work that out, because there's sometimes, like, if it's extremely windy and there's a specific target, which I've been fortunate. I've had a couple of great pros that have said, hey, the only way we're going to be able to fish here is if I point the boat into the wind, put it on spot lock, and we're both going to cast out the back of the boat.
Gotcha.
Which the back of the boat is technically my territory.
Okay.
But no way in hell am I going to tell him he can't cast back there.
Yeah.
Because I want to have a good day and I want to have fun.
For sure. Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm all for it. You want to line me up in the best position possible to have a chance at catching fish?
Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay.
But there's also circumstances to where the wind's playing right and they can nose the front of the boat up to a spot. I could be in 100 feet of water with not a fish in sight, and he's casting on the juice all day long, and I don't have a prayer at catching a fish all day.
It's interesting.
But if you respect him, give him his water, let him have his success, at some point in the day he's going to be like, hey man, I'm going to turn the boat, start casting up here, and give you your opportunities. But if you've already ticked him off in that first couple hours trying to cast over him or over his line, you're never going to see that water.
Yeah, like, F this guy.
Right.
Oh, man.
So,
it's interesting.
See, this is a dynamic that I had no idea about.
Yeah.
So if the listeners are listening, you guys are tournament fishing, and you guys already knew this. I mean, this is just stuff that, I think normal fishing people who watch the shows or whatever, or watch videos or whatever, or just see the pros, they're just like, how hard could it be, to be able to be a pro fisherman? That's actually my other question. I mean, how hard can it be? Because I'm pretty sure, like, somebody like Fishing Kit here can be like, man, I could catch a bass bigger than that guy.
Well, money is one thing.
I'll say 90. I'll say over 90% of the guys that have tried to make a living at it have gone broke or failed.
Ooh, why is that?
Just because there's only so much money to go around. It's not NFL.
Not everybody can
win. It's not MLB. There's only so much money out there. And there's become a new dynamic. It used to be sponsorships only sponsored the guys that were winning and were the best fishermen out there. Well, now, if you're awesome at YouTube or you're awesome at social media, you may not be worth a darn at catching fish, but if you can get those impressions and reach a certain number of people, they're going to pick that guy up over you. I mean, there's a couple of pros out there, I'm not going to name names, that don't have crap for deals, and there's probably in the top 20 to 50 guys in the world at what they do, but they have no interest in social media. They have no interest in marketing. So
we had Christine Fisher, and she talked about that. She was like, there's fishermen, but it's just social media driven right now with sponsorship. And
I gotta take a piss.
I
had to get it in there. I had to get it in there.
We'll take a break, and then we'll come back and close this out.
All right. Everybody's feeling better now?
We just got back from a potty break for Fishing Kit.
Relieved.
He's relieved. What were we talking about before we ended it off?
You were saying something about something.
I was saying something about something? Of course I was.
Oh, we were just kind of wrapping up with what the co-angler experience is like at the pro tournaments.
Yeah, and no, what we're talking about? Oh yeah. About right now, sponsors. I think they're looking for more of the person who can have a social media aspect, can reach further out than. It doesn't even matter. You can be the greatest fisherman in the world, but if you're not on social media, if you don't have an audience, that they're not even.
You're not as valuable.
It's a sad truth. It's a sad truth, but it makes sense. Because I hate to say it, you can be the greatest fisherman in the world, but if you want the best sponsorship, you better be able to create an audience or build your audience. And at the end of the day, when's the last person you saw at a boat ramp watching the greatest? You get some, but you don't get the whole. Somebody on YouTube who can create content for fishing wise will have a farther reach than somebody who's amazing at fishing tournaments.
Kind of like the point of sponsors is they want you to reach an audience that they normally wouldn't be able to reach out to. If you're the best fisherman on earth, but nobody's really looking at you other than
the people, die-hard fishermen.
Yeah, the die-hard guys.
Which isn't our customer base. Everyone makes that mistake, even us as small business owners. All the pros out there that reach out to us and whatever, those aren't our customers. Pros are the worst. They want everything for nothing. You're not making money on pros. They all want something for nothing or the best deal they can get. Yeah. Our customers are the everyday people that just want to be able to go catch fish for a meal or just want to go have fun for a day and get away from real life and work. That's the real customer base out there. The pro, diehard tournament circuit guys, there's a market there for all the guys in between that enjoy different levels of competitive fishing. There's a good customer base there, but the diehard serious fishermen aren't your true customer base. It's a normal everyday guy that wants to take his kid to a pond or take his kid to the lake for the weekend. That's the bulk of your actual customers.
That's kind of like how the DNR approaches things. They're not gonna listen. Well, I won't say they won't listen to the hardcore 10% walleye guys that want this, and this regulation. They're gonna more listen to the 40-50% of people that is their constituents versus these 10% guys.
Well, a great example of that is just the different stocking programs, whether it be stocking the trout in ponds or whatever. That's the everyday fisherman that just wants to that can't afford to go to Montana to fish for trout or can't afford to go wherever. But hey, there's a handful of ponds every year we're going to raise and release trout in. You can go have this great experience with your kids. I think a lot of what they do gears towards that.
My advice to anybody listening or thinking about how to get sponsorship, I think that's it, man. You got to build a social media following, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok.
If you're not the elite fisherman.
But even if you are the elite fisherman, you better have some type of social media following, or at least build it.
Right.
If you don't.
So I get to experience both sides of it because I'm a business owner in the industry, and I'm on the competitive side of
what's your
trying
angle?
To build myself up.
What's your angle on this?
So my angle. So as a business owner, I can tell you my biggest pet peeves. So I get 100 messages a month of, hey man, will you send me some product and I'll post for you every chance I get. I want some free products and I'll post for you. Who are you? Have you ever used my product? What can you tell me about my product? What's your experience with my product? If you can't tell me, if you've never used it, how are you going to help my customers understand the value of my product? So that's the biggest thing I see and I get. The biggest mistake I see out there, especially with young guys who don't know, who have never been taught the appropriate way to go about it, is I get 100, it'll be text, messenger, whatever, of, hey man, will you send me some free stuff and I'll put your logo on my jersey. I call them badge warriors. We got a million badge warriors out there. You've never used this product. You're going to reach out to a company and you're not going to explain, I have this social media following, or I'm very good with photography, or I get a lot of people asking me what's the best approach to take. I'm like, well, you need to make a professional fishing resume. Doesn't mean you have to be a pro, but here's a list of my experiences, my expertise, if you will, what I'm good at, what service I can offer you is I'm very good with photography. I have this much of a social media following, or YouTube, or whatever. I fish for different kinds of fish, whatever. But you need to establish what you have to offer them, not approach a company and say, will you give me X amount of dollars and X amount of free product, and I'll start posting for you.
See, that's so weird, because as someone that creates...
I feel fake. I can't reach out to a company whose product I've never used before in my life and pretend that I'm going to bring a value to them.
Yeah, as somebody that makes videos and stuff, I feel weird. I don't do that. I don't really reach out like, hey,
right.
Oh, can you send me this stuff and I'll make videos. I feel weird about it. Right. I've been working with Drastic Plastics.
Another great company.
Yeah.
Small business.
Happens to have JB's fish sauce infused in there.
He was on our podcast too.
Like, even talking to Scott, I was like, hey Scott, I wasn't even really asking. I was just saying, I need some more X swim baits, and I put in an order because I feel weird just asking, hey, can you just send me these?
Right.
I just feel weird asking him to send me stuff, and I just went in and put in an order, and then he's like, hey, I canceled your order, refunded your money. Here, I'm going to send you the stuff. Right. Which is awesome, but I feel weird just going up to him and asking him. But you have been
creating a value for that.
Right.
You didn't just call and say, hey man, I'll post on one of my videos if you send me a bunch of baits.
All right. Don't get a big head, Kit, but that's just that's also your character.
Well, it's a
good characteristic to have. Don't get a big head, but it's a good characteristic to have, that you're not looking for a freebie, or you're not looking for a fly-by, whatever. You're actually looking for stuff.
I mean, the reality is you're trying to create a mutually beneficial relationship. Mm-hmm. And in my mind, I'm trying to create long-term relationships. Mm-hmm. I need companies and products that I can rely on, because you can't afford to have any missteps out there. It doesn't matter if it's batteries, if it's a boat, if it's a motor, if it's a bait. I need to know I can count on this working or holding up for me. And companies need to know that you're not going to be a jackass on social media. You're not going to jail tomorrow because you're out doing stupid stuff. You're not going to be starting fights on social medias or in these groups. You're not going to be engaging in that stuff. But you're trying to create a mutually beneficial relationship, and I want to create long-term relationships. To me, it's not just about what can I get from you for this year. In my mind, it's what can I depend on for the next 10 years. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people miss that. But I mean, most guys out there, they fish 6 tournaments in a club or a weekend series a year, and they want to put as many logos on their jersey as they can and try to look cool for their buddies. I mean, that's the reality of our industry right now. There's a million of those guys out there. Yeah. I see it every day. I've just last season, there was 3 guys I know that added 6 to 8 new logos to their jerseys on products that they've never even used before. couldn't tell me anything about them. They fish 4 or 5 tournaments a year, and they might post 1 or 2 posts a year that are relevant to anything fishing. But they got to put a logo on their jersey and look cool for those 4 tournaments. I can't do that. That's not. I have a lot of opportunities that have been presented out there, and I've been declined a lot of opportunities out there. As you go up in levels and go up in goals, there are different statuses that you're trying to reach and relationships that you're trying to reach, and it's not always a good fit for both, especially with the economy. There's not every year is good timing for every company, especially after just going through COVID, the supply chain issues. The fishing industry lost a lot of marketing dollars, a lot of sponsorship dollars. A lot of companies had to cut way back just because their sales got cut back. A lot of companies did really well just because of the supply demand. It looks like they're doing awesome, but it's truly just because we can't get enough products out there to truly make a good profit. It was a tough couple of years the industry just went through. But it's rebounding from a supply chain issue. I won't say the economy is rebounding, but the supply chain issue is slowly rebounding and getting back to normal.
It's interesting, though, to kind of see how businesses are focusing. You know, when I say tournament anglers versus social media anglers, it's you got to do what's best for you when you're a business owner or small business, and even big business. You know, right, who are you going to sponsor? Yeah. It makes a difference, you know, the amount of money you're gonna put into them, and do they really believe in the product, and are they gonna really, you know, fish with it and promote it, you know? Right. So,
and not every business has the same goals, and that's a hard thing to learn when you're reaching out and trying to establish these relationships. For sure. Every company has a different goal or a different customer base that they're trying to reach that they didn't have before. It varies across the industry.
Yeah. Man, I gotta learn a lot from this guy, dude. We gotta get you on at least like quarterly or some shit like that, just to get more information. It's good information because I think it gives our audience, it gives us. I love you guys, audience. Don't get me wrong, but it gives us an opportunity to really learn shit that we don't know about. Right. You know what I mean? Like Fishing Kid, myself, we're not tournament anglers. We're not even gonna be. I mean, I'm not for sure. Maybe one day this guy, if he ever wants to.
Me personally,
you would ever?
I don't. It's not for me.
Okay.
You know, to be
it's
honest,
fair. It's fair.
It's not. You know, it's not for everybody.
No.
Not every fisherman's goal is to. Oh, I want to be a pro fisherman.
For sure.
But
well, and even with me having that goal, that's not my be all end all
right.
goal.
It doesn't define.
I mean,
you.
I have other goals of. I want to start a guide service and make a living depending on myself instead of making someone else rich.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
Makes sense.
I don't care about being rich, but
shit, my bad.
Obviously my love for the sport, the industry is unquestionable. I feel like I have a lot I can share with a lot of people. I'm at a point in my life I feel like I can share a lot of that and make a decent living at guiding, mixing in a few tournaments, and I got a lot of goals coming up.
For sure, man. If you let us know. Well, if you ever do decide to jump in that wagon of being a guide, let us know. I mean, I'd love to get you back on and let everybody know, hey, you want to go catch some.
Well, the next one of these we'll have to do a little old school. We should do it. We should do a flathead trip. And we can drink beer and BS while we're sitting on the river. And
we try. We've never caught a fish doing a podcast.
No. I like that.
You're right. We haven't actually. We've tried to record several times while fishing. We haven't caught a fish yet while podcasting, I guess you can say. Well, we haven't yet.
I can't make any guarantees, but we can try to make it happen.
Wait, I do take it back. We did catch
one. It was on the ice, and this guy decided to somehow lose the content.
Anyway, that's neither here nor there, but I'm going to have a bait tank.
Some guys lose content. Some guys fall in the water. You know, it happens.
I'm going to have a bait tank here soon.
All right.
So after you take the winnings in this little outing that you're partaking in, then let's talk about this. Because
it'll be fun.
Even though I know you and we fish together, I feel weird just be like, hey, I see you catching some flatheads. Let's go catch some flatheads.
Well, it's interesting you say that because that happens. My messages and my texts blow up after every post, and that's why I post less and less.
Yeah, I already know. People are.
So I can't imagine guys that are way above. The guys like Spencer and some of the other guys that already have these amazingly established avenues out there and followings. I can't imagine what they go through because what I go through it with just a few posts once in a while.
They have to just.
I feel like Spencer has groupies.
Right.
I feel like he does. And I'm not even talking about chicks. I'm talking about dude groupies.
All right, we're gonna get him on. We gotta get him back on, and we're gonna be like, dude, how many groupies you got, bro?
He's probably like, oh, girls don't watch my fishing videos. We ain't talking about girls.
Too funny.
I'm calling him when we leave.
Love it. Good times. You let him know, hey, next time BFF asks you, you better tell him how many groupies you got, man.
But that seriously is
true.
A thing,
Yep, it is.
I'm a nobody, and if I post a picture, within 24 hours, I'm getting blown up with, hey, man, can we go fishing sometime? Hey, man, can you show me this? What? Yeah. And I don't mind it. I'd love to fish with anybody and everybody out there. Reality is I can't make that happen.
Yeah.
And how do I start drawing those lines of...
One way to do it.
But just to let you know, I've been that flathead fishing outing's been burning in the back of my mind. Like, okay, how do I bring it up to Cory?
We can make it happen.
There we go. Make it happen. And then plus, you know what? How you can make the other thing happen? You might as well just start your guide service and then just.
I'd be your pack.
My guide service won't include catfishing. My guide service is going to be based on bass and crappie. And,
there we go.
Which is another secret little adventure is I want to dabble in the crappie tournament scene at some point.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think this is dragging on kind of long, but are the other fishing tournament scenes kind of set up the same? Or let's say for walleye, walleye tournament, is there a co-angler?
Walleyes have a pro and co-angler format. Mm-hmm. Crappies are pretty much just established teams or individuals. There's not a pro co-angler format that I know of.
What about catfish?
Catfish, I haven't followed a lot of the tournament scenes just because I've never had an interest in the tournament deal. But I'm pretty sure that's just established teams.
Yeah, I feel like
muskie guys have a few circuits out there. I'm pretty sure those are just established teams. But I know walleyes have a co-angler format, like the National Walleye Tour, and there's a couple other good ones out there. But
I guess it just depends how big the tournament scene is, really, huh?
Right.
And I guess for now, the walleye tournament scene is the threshold when it comes to teams and co-anglers or whatever. As far as adopting that bass tournament
format.
As far as I know.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't looked into it, but as far as I know, those are the two major species that have co-angler pro opportunities out there.
We'll have to reach out to some some connections about catfishing.
I think catfish guys is just like boats versus boats pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't even understand all the rules because some of the tournaments I see posted, it's 2-man teams. Some of them you can have up to 4 or 5 guys in a boat, and I'm just like,
interesting.
It's still the
Wild
West.
How does that work? Is there still limited to a number of rods you can use, no matter how many guys you have? I don't know all those.
And that would also depend on the body of water too, right?
I guess, yeah.
We'll have to reach out to the catfishing.
You know, there's a local one here that you can fish on the bank or in the boat. For guys that want a small sample of what tournament fishing and catfish is like.
I signed up for one catfish tournament in the kayak. Well, they had it was a boat tournament, but they also had a kayak division.
Yeah.
But the weather was shitty, so they canceled the tournament outright.
Oh.
And that was the one. I was actually excited about that one. I did an ice fishing tournament. That was pretty rough.
Right.
That was rough.
So tournaments can be as fun as you want them to be. I mean, it's all in your mindset. If you have unrealistic goals of I'm going to become a pro tomorrow, you should probably stay away from tournaments. If you have goals of I just want to go have fun and have a good experience and learn and hang out with the guys and maybe win a little money while I'm at it,
there you go.
it's a good opportunity. But I do not recommend chasing the real tournament dream for everybody. It's a good way to go broke fast.
It's a grind.
Yeah,
It sounds
it's a grind.
It's a grind.
Well, and it's hard on, nobody talks about the stress it puts on family and how much time you miss with my wife or with my kids.
Yeah, you're going to be gone 10 days, for
right,
example.
I'm getting ready to leave for 10 days.
Yeah.
How many families out there can accept and
For sure.
handle that? Now mom has to not only work, but worry about taking care of everything for the kids, taking care of everything at the house for 10 days. What if something goes wrong, a furnace goes out or whatever? I'm 16 hours away across the country.
For sure.
There's a lot of stresses and things people don't realize that go along with it.
It's not all just, hey, go fishing for the weekend and win a tournament. It's not.
Yeah, it takes a special family, a special spouse, which props to my wife. She's put up with me for over 20 years now. But it truly takes a special situation to make these dreams a reality.
Touché. For sure. You anything else for Cory, guy?
So if people do want to reach out to you for, let's say, JB's Fishsauce, or I know you get hundreds of messages about going out to fish and stuff.
Right.
How can they do that?
So JB's Fishsauce, we're on Facebook, Instagram, slowly starting to try some YouTube and TikTok stuff with it, but haven't gotten real serious with it yet. I'm not the best at technology, so to speak. But social media, email, sales@jbsfishsauce.com. On the internet, just www.jbsfishsauce.com. Lots of ways to reach us.
What about you personally?
Me personally, so I have my personal page, which I have a good number of friends out there. You can reach me on all the social medias. And then I also I've tried to start to steer my personal page away from my fishing side. I created Cory Weaver Outdoors. So I have a separate page on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, although I don't know what I'm doing on YouTube yet, so don't expect much. So yeah, you can reach out to me those ways. I'm slowly going to try to separate my personal stuff on Facebook away and social media from Cory Weaver Outdoors. If you want to go like and follow, I appreciate it and love it. And if you have questions about fishing, anybody wants to reach out to me about anything, feel free anytime. I'm willing to help, share, teach anybody.
For sure.
I enjoy that side of it.
Pretty badass for you to come. Hey, we got to make it a regular thing to have you on, and
before you make it too big, and before you don't have time to hop on a underground podcast like ours.
Let's keep it real. I'm getting too old. I'm never gonna make it too big.
It's all right, man. You will. You'll get there, man. I think you're grinding your ass off, so it's kind of cool to see you on your journey. We're following you, man. We're rooting for you. Appreciate you, just like you said, spending the time with us to give us a lot of knowledge. I think you taught. I mean, whatever the case may be, I felt like I learned a lot from you, just because understanding the industry, just understanding tournament fishing, just everything that you're going through. And like I said, we follow you, and it's kind of cool to have you back on, and we got to have you back on again. We just got to make sure you're not on a kayak falling in, and
well, he don't have a kayak.
Oh
no
shit!
more.
Yeah,
we can't make guarantees on that. Something silly is probably gonna happen if I'm involved, and I'm okay with it.
Too funny, man. But other than that, man, thank you so much, Cory. We do appreciate it.
Thank you guys, and good to see what all you guys got going on. Support these guys, Bearfish Fanatics, Mile Pop, Fishing Kits. Got a lot of good things going on. Great guys, and thanks for having me.
For sure, man. Let's go have another beer before we call it evening.
Oh, wait.
Fishing Kit got something.
Don't forget to leave a review. We need to start throwing that in there.
Yeah, I keep forgetting about that.
It would only help us.
Yeah.
So if you're listening on iTunes, iHeartRadio, whatever, leave a review.
Absolutely.
It can only help.
Yep.
Yes.
Even if it's a critical review, it'll help us.
Like
what do we need to work on? I need to stop saying like for 50 times each episode.
Or Granny needs to go out and actually fish.
Yeah.
That helps.
That helps.
Brandy over there, check out my YouTube video, even though I haven't posted in 2 months.
I said I'm going to post once a month from now on. Gosh, I just posted one like a week and a half ago, dude.
I'm just throwing that out there.
I get it. True that. All right. No, we definitely appreciate you guys, but Fishing Kit's right. I totally forgot about that. Leave a review.
Hook these guys up.
Yeah, hook us up, man. Shoot.
Get me up to 2,000 subs on YouTube.
Yes.
Go check his
Fishing Kit.
I'm creeping. I'm creeping.
Supposedly I'm supposed to slam
it
a
costs
beer.
you nothing to hit that like and subscribe button.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Share.
Speaking
Share.
like a man, you say you don't know how to do
nothing.
YouTube.
Yeah, for a guy who don't know about YouTube,
you
right?
don't know how to do YouTube.
Great
What?
content. Everyday guys, just like you guys, going out there learning every day, just like you guys are trying to do.
For sure.
Just beating
Support
the
it.
bank.
Beating the bank.
Yeah.
We do beat the bank.
Beating the kayak.
Yeah.
There we go. For sure.
Somehow he stays on top more than I do, but
Until next time, guys.
All right. See ya.